For today's project, I decided to do some painting. So I'm painting the zombies from a board game I've had laying around for a while called Zombiecide. It comes with a lot of different characters. I just painted the zombies this time around, and they all start off as plain gray plastic, and I painted them with some acrylics and did a wash to give them a little depth, and then gave them some highlights, and did some matte varnish to kind of keep them stable. Here's a couple of previews of what the figures look like before. So they're good. They've got a lot of detail to them. Pretty cool looking. Got hair and clothes and wrinkles and all that good stuff. Each one of them has a stand. And so to paint them, I just picked up some of the acrylic paints that I had laying around. Mostly just inexpensive paints that I picked up from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Alright, so I laid down a base coats, several different colors. Actually, I primered most of them with a dark gray primer. That way the paint would adhere a little better. This one I didn't primer, and so you can see some of the paint's not fixed on there very well. The primered ones definitely were easier to paint. So going forward, I'll definitely primer all the units before I paint them. And so with the base paint, got a little bit sloppy, got a little bit on the bases, but that's okay. I'll come back and clean that up later. And did a couple different color schemes, so that even the zombies that were the same model, I gave them different colors, so there'd be a little bit of variation between them. And then thought about doing a base coat of green, and probably should have. You can see the gray peeking through on the base coat a little bit. But when you're at the table distance, you can't tell. They look great. Next, I gave a wash, and so I did a couple different washes. I did a dark green wash, and it didn't look very good, so then I tried a strong tone wash, and it was a little too strong. So I ended up with a mild brown. It gave them a good dirty look, so that they look like dirty zombies, which, I mean, zombies running around all day long, they'd be dirty. They don't take baths. And so that turned out the best, and I gave them a lot of depth. The washes seep into the shadows and give the little cracks and crevices a good shadow, so it's a good look. Then after that I came back and I painted the bases black and gave them a light highlight with a white, antique white. And so I used a dry brush technique for that. Got a little heavy on some of the models, so you can see I probably went overboard on some of them. Should have come back and maybe cleaned some of that off. And I did on some of them. I actually, before I varnished them, I came back and knocked some of the white off. It was a little too bright. But eventually I got it just right. And it's like the guys with the hoodies look really good. It just highlights the high parts of the clothing and like the edges of the clothing, makes it look a little frayed. So the whitewash turned out great on the zombies. Hair, maybe went overboard a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, zombies have gray hair, don't they? And then the nice thing is that, like, picked up some of the details. Like this jogger has an earbud, so you can see the cord going from his belt line up to his ears. And so it's nice to have that picked up in white. And then once I put them on the board, everything looks great. Have quite a bit of variety there. And they all stand out just fine. Hope you guys learned something. I mean, pretty easy technique. You just basically paint, varnish, wash, varnish, highlight. And that way you've got varnishes between each level, so you can kind of correct your mistakes. Also the wash, if you don't varnish between the paint and the wash, sometimes the wash will actually wash off the acrylic paint. So you gotta let the acrylics dry, put down like a matte finish, and then come back and do the wash, and that works great. Alright, thanks for watching.